Okay, Keith here, Beat the Casino. I wanted to go over the next approach that I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to show you where the bet placement is first. We'll talk about betting a little bit later, but I kind of want to make sure everyone gets their head around what people are talking about in the forum, and just some legacy approaches that they're always good to know. So this is called OTB4l, which stands for opposite time before last. I'm going to play the same game here. Last game we played at time before last. This time we're going to play opposite time before last. We're just going to bet one on each one. So opposite time before last is an old system. A lot of people use it. When there's a shortage of ones, it's usually not a bad way to play, and there's a lot of twos and threes. Sometimes it isn't a bad way to play. But anyway, let's just go ahead and go over the process of playing it first. First of all, you can't bet until you see a hand or two, or actually two hands. So the first two hands here I'm going to mark in, as you can see from this game that we've used it as the example game. It's on player. So opposite time before last means to play opposite what happened the hand previous, the second hand 2 hands ago. So here's the current hand, and here's the time before that. So time before last, albeit. Okay. So you're going to bet opposite this. So opposite player is you would bet on banker. You bet one on banker, and in this case it won. So of course you'd circle that. Now the time before last is here, so you're going to bet opposite that. So again you're going to bet on banker, and you can see here in hand 4 player 1. Here's the time before last. Okay, so the time before last, I'm sorry, I think I misstated that. The opposite of this is player, so you're going to bet 1 on player. Okay. And on hand 5, it looks like banker 1. Okay, so here's the current hand. Here's the time before last hand. Player 1, so you're going to bet opposite that. So you're going to bet banker. And on hand 6, player 1. Okay, here's the last hand. Here's the previous hand. So this is the time. This is the last hand, and then opposite the time before this hand. Okay, well, it was banker, so we're going to bet on player. And on hand 7, player 1. Now, that's the hard way to think of it. There's a real easy way to always know what side to bet. Okay, and it's all you got to do is remember this one rule. After a repeat, you're going to bet opposite. Repeat, bet opposite. So you would bet here. After a repeat, bet opposite. And the run went down to hand 12. After a repeat, bet opposite. Hand 12 still. After a repeat, bet opposite. And then finally at hand 13, it finally wins. And the rule then says after an opposite, which is this, bet repeat. And then it won again. After a repeat, bet opposite. And 15, I'm sorry, that one. After an opposite, bet repeat. And banker 1. After an opposite, bet repeat. Hand 17. After a repeat, bet opposite. After a repeat, bet opposite, and hand 19. After an opposite, bet repeat, and hand 20 was banker. So it's a real easy way to play. You can see it doesn't really like, it likes 2 in a row as the side you're going to lose on a long run. So, you know, it can be a tricky way to play. You know, if there's a lot of 2 in a rows, certainly gets you through the terrible 2s. But in any event, it's a real easy way to play. Just think after a repeat, okay, you're going to bet opposite. And if we look here, hand 21, banker 1. One more time. And then after an opposite, bet repeat, and banker 1. After a repeat, bet opposite, and player 1. And after an opposite, bet repeat. After a repeat, bet opposite. And looks at hand 25. It won there. Pretty easy to play if you think of it that way. Okay, hope that helped. That's OTB4l. Some people call it opposite time before last, OTB4l, whatever you want to call it. It's bet opposite after a repeat, bet repeat after an opposite. Okay, thanks a lot.